Section 4 skill areas. 1. Job description. Locomotive engineer. The duties of locomotive engineer will include observing all the rules, practices in this manual, especially Section 3, operation practices, procedures, local directives, and applicable job function of a railroad train engineer. 2. Operate the train in a safe manner. Allow, follow, and require train handling practices at all times. Remaining locomotive gives close to attention to during or switching or coupling operations. 3. Assuming charge of the train when conductor is absent. When the emergency, the railway supervisor shall provide guidance and instruction to the engineer. 4. Control and care for the assigned locomotive. Ensure economical use of fuel and supplies. 5. Observe the condition of the train while underway and looking back frequently, especially while rounding curves. Ensure the other crew members in the cab inspect the train as conditions and permit. Observe condition of the right-of-way, being of constant lookout of the track defects, switches are not properly lined, derailed, and otherwise obstruction equipment that may be following the track. The conduct of all railroad inspected locomotive record defects and described form of properly report of the railway supervisor. Conductor. The duties of a conductor will include observe all the rules, practices, manuals, of special Section 3, local directives of applicable job function of a railroad conductor, supervisor, all other members of a crew, coordinate the train operation, assign duties and necessary to complete the work assigned to the crew.
Database has been updated.
Assigned to the crew, receives the train movements, orders, car spotting instructions from the dispatcher designated representative, direct the safe movement, care of the locomotive, railway cars equipped from an assigned train, monitor the train's operation at all times, control care for equipment under the supervision such as railway cars and radios, and supplies the condition and permit over the observed condition of train while underway and looking if only the locomotive off forward rear of the train frequently, especially from the rounding curves. The conductor will ensure the crew members all inspect the train condition permits, observe the condition right away, being a constant looking at the track defects, which is not properly lined, rail, other obstructions, equipment that they may be following the track. C. The conductor of all required inspectors of train record deficiencies, defects on prescribed forms of properly reported of the supervisor, report of the railroad dispatcher, nature, extent of the incident and condition, and prevent assignments of train movement and orders from the carried out, request clarification, ordering system, orders before proceeding, breakers and switchers. The duties of a breaker and switcher includes observe all rules, practices, manuals, and especially inspect Section 3 local directives of applicable for job functioning of a breaker and switcher, completer and design duties assigned by the conductor and engineer in the absence of conductor position and switches in as the recurred return in the proper position and given the hand flag lamp signal as required when using required safety equipment. Uncouple railway cars as required, set and release the handbrakes and shock wheels as required when condition the permit, observe condition of the train or railway, looking back in the locomotive forward and on the rear of the train, frequently, especially well around cars, observe the condition of the right-of-way, being on the constant lookout of the track defects, properly derailments, obstruction equipment that they may be following the track. 9. Assist the conductor in performing all required inspections of the railway car properly and effectively and efficiently to the conductor. Dispatchers in the railway yard masters. The duties of a dispatcher and railway yard masters include observe all rules, practices in the manual, especially Section 3 local directives of applicable job function. Dispatcher yard master can ordinately all moves a railroad tracker to under the jurisdiction such as moves which would include any train, track, mobile, high rail, motor car, or any other special railway equipment which involves pieces of equipment following in the track or in any way. Issues to the train movements and orders. The dispatchers and sole authority for movement of the railway equipment on the train track system. Record all the related movements. Record all the restrictions, and such as special speeds restrictions, out of service conditions, and any other events or conditions that may affect the track status. Maintain current lists of locations of railway cars, special railway equipment on activities, rails, networks, prepare switches, movements lists of train crews when directed by local SOP, coordination of several commercial carrier, relative interchange movements, coordination, all radio transmitted, related, operated railway network, and conditional railroad checks by various personnel, and maintain current lists of procedures, contact for numerous and various potential emergency situations. Such situations are a combination of the following: example, derailment, crossing accident, personal journey, injury, trespass or injury, railway car, railway for fire, prevention, railway radioactivity release ordinance involvement, railroad supervisor. Duty of a railway supervisor is supervisor railroad operation plans, schedules to work, and the accomplish. The plan's effective, efficient, safe use of personnel in accordance to the available resources, priorities, inspects work progress to ensure the work is being effectively, efficiently, and safely, correctively actions as necessary. Maintain liaison as the railroad ensures that there is need for being met and taking corrective actions when they are being met. 7. Maintains the liaison organization to support the railroad operation and railroad needs as in being met. Recommends corrective actions when the railroads are needed and are not being met. Manages our incoming, outgoing commercial to ensure all dealt with effectively and safely, and maintains records such as moving cars, locations such as switch requests, spotting requests, etc., and to aid effective and efficient and safe use of the railroad. 10. Play principal roles on preparation of all railroad operations, governing documents, ensuring the preparations of documents that are under his or her purview of implemented information, maintains knowledge of current railroad practices, maintains efficient training program such as and acts as a trainer when required, enforces fire and security regulations, maintains good housing in all work areas, and performs dispatchers, conductors, engineer, brake switchers if qualified, if required to do so.